Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Yasodhanandana Vrajayana Ranjana Yasodhanandana Vrajayana Ranjana Yamuna Tiravanachari Yamuna Tiravanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Jaya Gopi Janavallabha Girivaradhari Jaya Gopi Janavallabha Girivaradhari Yasodhanandana Vrajayana Ranjana Yasodhanandana Vrajayana Ranjana Yasodhanandana Vrajayana Ranjana Yamuna Tiravanachari Yamuna Tiravanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Madhava Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jaya Radha Madhava Radha Madhava Radhe. Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada. Prabhupada ki jai. Jai Vishnupat Paramhamsa Parivrajacharya Stotra Satasi Srimad Abhay Charana Ravinda Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki, Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur ki, Prem se kaho Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda ki, Sri Gaura Bhakta Vrinda ki, Grantara Srimad Bhagavatam ki, Yanitai Gaura Premanande. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the lotus feet of Sri Guru and Sri Gauranga. Om Agyanatimirandasya Gyananjana Salakaya Chaksurum Militanyena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Sri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitanyana Bhutale Swayan Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Sri Guru Sri Yuta Padakamalam Sri Gurum Vaishnavamscha Sri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Ragunatam Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakambitanscha Namom viṣṇu-padyāḥ Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swamigiti Namine Namaste Sarasvate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesa Sunyavadi Paschyatyade Shatarine E Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namastute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanusute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Sivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Hare Krishna. So welcome to the Srimad Bhagavatam class. Today we're reading from the second canto, chapter 3, entitled Pure Devotional Service. Text 23. Wasn't this chapter entitled The Change of Heart? The change of heart. Okay, it's just partially. Okay. So please repeat. Jīvañ chavo bhāgavata-aṅghri-reṇuṁ. Jīvañ chavo bhāgavata-aṅghri-reṇuṁ. Na jātu martyo bhilabheta yastu. Na jātu martyo bhilabheta yastu. śrī-viṣṇu-padyā manujas tulasyāḥ. śrī-viṣṇu-padyā manujas tulasyāḥ. śvasañ chavo yastu na veda gandham. śvasañ chavo yastu na veda gandham. jīvañ chavo bhāgavata-aṅghri-reṇuṁ. Na jātu martyo bhilabheta yastu. śrī-viṣṇu-padyā manujas tulasyāḥ. śvasañ chavo yastu na veda gandham. Bolo. Jīvañ chavo bhāgavata-aṅghri-reṇuṁ. Bye. Martyo bhilabheta yastu. viṣṇu-padyāḥ tulasī. Ladies. Jīvañ chavo bhāgavata-aṅghri-reṇuṁ. Na jātu martyo bhilabheta yastu. śrī-viṣṇu-padyā manujas tulasyāḥ. śvasañ chavo yastu na veda gandham. Jīvañ chavo bhāgavata-aṅghri-reṇuṁ. jīvañ while living, śavaḥ, a dead body, bhagavata-aṅghri-reṇuṁ, the dust of the feet of a pure devotee, never, jātu, at any time, martyaḥ, mortal, abhilabheta, particularly received, yaha, a person, tu, but, śrī, with opulence, viṣṇu-padyā, of the lotus feet of Vishnu, manu-jaḥ, a descendant of Manu, a man, tulasyāḥ, leaves of the tulasī tree, śvasañ, while breathing, śavaḥ, still a dead body, yaha, who, tu, but, veda, never experience, gandham, the aroma. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki jai. The person who has not at any time received the dust of the feet of the Lord's pure devotee upon his head is certainly a dead body. And the person who has never experienced the aroma of the tulasī leaves from the lotus feet of the Lord is also a dead body, although breathing. Please repeat. The person who has not at any time received the dust of the feet of the Lord's pure devotee upon his head is certainly a dead body. And the person who has never experienced the aroma of the tulasī leaves from the lotus feet of the Lord is also a dead body, although breathing. Purport. According to Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, the breathing dead body is a ghost. When a man dies, he is called dead. But when he again appears in a subtle form, not visible to our present vision, and yet acts, such a dead body is called a ghost. Ghosts are always very bad elements, always creating a fearful situation for others. Similarly, the ghost-like non-devotees who have no respect for the pure devotees, nor for the Vishnu deity in the temples, create a fearful situation for the devotees at all times. The Lord never accepts any offering by such impure ghosts. There is a common saying that one should first love the dog of the beloved before one shows any loving sentiments for the beloved. The stage of pure devotion is attained by sincerely serving a pure devotee of the Lord. So remember that one, I'll read it again. The stage of pure devotion is attained by sincerely serving a pure devotee of the Lord. The first condition of devotional service to the Lord is therefore to be a servant of a pure devotee. And this condition is fulfilled by the statement, reception of the dust of the lotus feet of a pure devotee who has also served another pure devotee. That is the way of pure disciplic cessation or devotional parampara. Maharaj Raghugana inquired from the great saint Yad Bharat as to how he had attained such a liberated stage of a Paramahamsa. And in answer, the great saint replied as follows: Raghugana itat tapasana yati Natchekyaya nirvapanat krihatva Rakshandasanaiva jalagni suryair Vina mahatpadarayo vishekam. O King Rahugana, the perfectional stage of devotional service or the Paramahansa stage of life cannot be attained unless one is blessed by the dust of the feet of great devotees. It is never attained by tapasya, austerity, the Vedic worshipping process, acceptance of the renounced order of life, the discharge of the duties of household life, the chanting of the Vedic hymns, or the performance of penances in the hot sun, within cold water, or before the blazing fire. In other words, Lord Sri Krishna is the property of his pure and conditional devotees. And as such, only the devotees can deliver Krishna to another devotee. Krishna is never obtainable directly. Lord Chaitanya therefore designated himself as Gopi Bhartu Padakamalayur Dasa Dasa Anudasa, or the most obedient servant of the servants of the Lord, who maintains the gopis, damsels of Vrindavan. A pure devotee never approaches the Lord directly, but tries to please the servant of the Lord's servants, and thus the Lord becomes pleased. And only then can the devotee relish the taste of the tulasī leaves stuck to his lotus feet. In the Brahma Samhita, it is said that the Lord is never to be found by becoming a great scholar of the Vedic literatures, but he is very easily approachable through his pure devotee. In Vrindavan, all the pure devotees pray for the mercy of Srimati Radharani, the pleasure potency of Lord Krishna. Srimati Radharani is a tender-hearted feminine counterpart of the Supreme Whole, resembling the perfectional stage of the worldly feminine nature. Therefore, the mercy of Radharani is available very readily to the sincere devotees. And once she recommends such a devotee to Lord Krishna, the Lord at once accepts the devotee's admittance into his association. The conclusion is, therefore, that one should be more serious about seeking the mercy of the devotee than that of the Lord directly. And by once doing so, by the goodwill of the devotee, the natural attraction for the service of the Lord will be revived. So what is the conclusion? Loud. That's part of it. Complete. He says that one should be more eager to seek the mercy of the Lord's devotee than seeking the mercy of the Lord. So Shaunaka Rishi here is actually in his enthusiasm, he is glorifying or expressing the glories of Krishna Katha, and at the same time he is criticizing when there is lack of Krishna Katha. We heard so many verses in which he is, expressing how hearing Krishna Katha, why hearing Krishna Katha is important, because it helps us to attain Vaikuntha. It's through hearing Krishna Katha that we can attain the ultimate perfection. And hearing any other type of Katha actually invites death. So therefore, people who are not using their valuable time in hearing Krishna Katha, they are, wasting their lives. And therefore, there is some analogies given about the ear holes being like the ears, and like the tongue and the turban in the head. So the emphasis is being placed in the importance of hearing Krishna Katha. And why is this? He has just heard. This section of the Bhagavatam is actually, in one sense, the first canto is like an introduction. And the second canto, it begins with the explanation of Suta Goswami, or the answer to the question of Parikshit Maharaj. And the answer is, the question was, what is the duty of any man at any stage in life? What is the duty particularly of someone who is about to die? And what is the answer to that question? Tarabu. Yeah, paraphrasing. One should constantly hear, glorify, and worship the Supreme Lord. And he says that actually the perfection of human life is attained when one can remember the personality of Godhead at the time of death. So therefore, one must constantly hear, remember, and worship the Supreme Lord. He's given many instructions. And then after giving the answer to the question, he's been given like a different stages. The first stage on God realization, which is meditation on the universal form. And then he moved on to say that an intelligent person, it's distant, thank you for that. Okay. Great. So he says that in the second chapter, he says an intelligent person is one who understands, is it better? Is one who understands that the Lord is in the heart. And therefore, and then everything is leading to this third chapter, which is called the change of heart, wherein Suta Goswami is given the conclusion. And the conclusion is that, akama sarva kamova moksha kama udaridi tivrena bhakti yogana yayeta purusham param. That whether one has material desires, one is free from material desires, one desires liberation, a person of broader intelligence must worship the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, in his commentary to that verse, it's a very sweet thing that he says. He says that, Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita that of letters I am A or A, depending which part of the word. And he says that when you have the word kama means desire. And you are the word A, which is Krishna. Then you have akama. He says that when you add Krishna to your desires, then you become free from those desires. It's the only way by which we can become free from material desires. Because he had been describing like different processes according to the Vedic system by which we can also fulfill our material desires. Because even though it's been described and expressed that one must absorb himself in hearing about Krishna and pursuing the goal of attaining Vaikuntha, still I have material desires. So the Vedic system prescribes different methods. But ultimately, he's saying that, the way to become free from those material desires is by worshiping the Supreme Lord. And therefore, the doubtless and fearless way of success for all is the chanting of the holy names of the Lord. We heard this many times. To actually imbibe this, the doubtless and fearless way of success for all is to chant the holy names of the Lord. To the degree that we have actually realized, or like make this, create an imprint in our hearts that yes, my japa every morning is the doubtless and fearless way of perfection. How, if I have understood this, how serious will I take every day to chant my rounds attentively? So then, after explaining of all this, Shaunaka Rishi is very, very excited, and he is afraid now that Parikshit Maharaj, that Sukadeva Goswami, he's already replied to his question, and he is afraid. Now what's going to happen? Is he going to stop? Is he going to stop? So he asked Suta Goswami, he asked, so what did Parikshit Maharaj ask after this? And to encourage Suta Goswami to speak more, he is expressing all these verses. As I say, in one sense glorifying Krishna Katha, and on the other hand condemning the lack of Krishna Katha. And this is a dynamic that is going on in the Bhagavatam regularly. And this is the main point of this verse, actually. Because he's saying that the person who has not received, who has not at any time received the dust of the feet of the Lord's pure devotee upon his head, is certainly a dead body, like a ghost. And a person who has never experienced the aroma of the tulsi leaves from the lotus feet of the Lord is also a dead body, although breathing. So there is no, it's like when someone has not received the mercy of the devotee, which basically means that when someone has not been enlightened about the actual purpose of human life, about my real identity, Sambandha Jnana, that I am the eternal servant of the servants of the Lord. Unless one has actually been given that seed, he is just like a ghost. Shaunaka Rishi is explaining. And Rupa Goswami in the Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, he's explaining, is giving a similar analogy. He's saying that for someone who has not abandoned the desires for bhukti, material desire for sense gratification, and the desire for mukti, desire from freedom, from suffering in the material world, he is just like a person who is being haunted by a ghost. Someone who is being, these two desires, bhukti and mukti, are compared to witches. So someone who is under the influence of black magic, he's not being himself. So Prabhupada goes on in the purport to explain that the first condition is that one must receive the mercy of the devotee. And he's explaining, he's quoting a very beautiful verse from the 5th canto, where Maharaj Rahugana, sorry, not Maharaj Rahugana, Jadbharat, he is actually explaining so many different processes. And he's saying that none of these processes will have any effect, any really tangible effect. And many things are being described there, just to make sure that you are awake. What are some of the things that Jad Bharat is saying in that verse? That he's saying, this is not good enough. You remember? Austerity, tapasya, not by tapasya, not by charity, by studying Vedic literatures, by sacrifices, and not by perfecting your, not by taking the sannyas ashram, by becoming a sannyasi and renouncing material life, not by executing, not fulfilling your duties in the grihastha ashram. He says that none of these are capable of giving us actually the ultimate goal. In other words, all these things are secondary. All these processes are secondary. And the most important is that we receive, that one is blessed by the dust of the lotus feet of the Lord. So the explanation for this, and then Prabhupada, is such a rich purport that so Prabhupada is explaining how, and we were making that as the conclusion, Prabhupada was explaining the conclusion, is that one should be more serious about getting the mercy of the devotee. It's more important to be to seek the mercy of the devotee. And why? Because the devotee represents the compassionate nature of Krishna. And it's a very nice section in the Nectar of Devotion also, where Prabhupada writes that when Bhishma-dev was lying on the bed of arrows, he was and Krishna came, and Krishna was displaying his compassion for Bhishma-dev, and tears were rolling from his eyes. And he's saying that this was the compassionate nature of Krishna. And he says that the compassionate nature of Krishna is actually Srimati Radharani. So therefore, the devotees were always seeking the mercy of Srimati Radharani, her compassionate nature. And this is the very significant. It's very significant also for us as Gaudiya Vaishnavas. Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, she said that those who are worshippers of Vishnu, they are Vaishnavas. Those who are worshippers of Krishna, they are Krishnaites. And those who are worshippers of Radharani, they are Gaudiyas. So we're Gaudiya Vaishnavas. So we're seeking the mercy of Srimati Radharani. Of course, some say that we're seeking the mercy of Krishna, so we can also get the mercy of Srimati Radharani. Right? So I just remember, one point anyway, the point being made is that it's so important that we submit, that we seek the association of the devotees. And the connection with also the context of what's happening, like in the next verse, I believe. No. In the fifth canto, when it's being expressed, that one must get the dust of the feet of the pure devotees, is described what is the quality of the pure devotees of the Lord, and why we seek their association. And the quality is that they are always absorbed in hearing and speaking about Krishna. And this is the point that Shonaka Rishi is going to make many times. Certainly, he's actually making it in this section of the Bhagavatam. Certainly, if Parikshit Maharaj and Sukadeva Goswami, if they came together, they were great devotees. So therefore, some Krishna Katha must have taken place. And this is why, for the devotee can only make progress through the association of devotees, because it's in the association of devotees that he can hear Krishna Katha. He can understand what is actually the ultimate goal of life. He can understand his identity, and he can perfect his life and understand the ultimate goal, which is going back home, back to Godhead. Only in the association of devotees. And this point is very much emphasized throughout the scriptures. In the Bhagavatam itself, right at the beginning, Suta Goswami is also explaining the process of devotional service. And it begins by Susruso Sadadanasya Vasudeva Kataruchi Syam Mahat Sevaya Vipra punyatirtha mishevanat. That by rendering devotional service to those devotees who are fully pure in heart, one develops affection or attachment for the messages of Vasudeva. So that's the benefit. That's what we seek, the association of Vaishnavas. That's what we want to hear Krishna Katha with devotees. And in that association, their qualities, the love of the devotees, will become infected by them. Prabhupada writes in that connection that pure devotion is infectious, just as an infectious disease. So it means when you have an infectious disease, it means that even if you don't want to get it, you get it, right? So if you're in the association of pure devotees, even if you don't want to be a devotee, like in the description of this of King Rahugana, and there is explained that even an impersonalist will become a devotee, because the qualities of the devotee, of the pure devotee, will imbibe, and his thinking, his feeling, his willing will change, will be transformed by hearing the sound vibration of emanating from the lips of the devotees. And why? Because the sound vibration that emanates from the lips of the devotees carries the saffron particles that decorate the lotus feet of the Lord. And we become enlivened. We become infused with ecstasy, actually, with happiness, with joy. We become jubilant by hearing Krishna Katha. So therefore, by association with the devotees, we develop the desire to hear Krishna Katha. And that's the qualification for what? When one becomes eager to hear Krishna Katha, what happens? Krishna, Shimpata Sokata Krishna, Punya Shavana Kirtana, Vidyantasto Hyabadrani, Vidunoti Suritsatan. Then Krishna in the heart, he knows that this devotee, he is serious now. He wants to attain. That's the mark of the devotee. He wants to hear Krishna Katha. That's. Of course, we have so many other descriptions there about the qualities of a pure devotee, but that's the main thing. He's always wanting to hear about Krishna. So Krishna from within the heart, now he cleanses the heart from material contamination. And when the heart becomes cleansed, what happens? Nashta prayeshu abhadrisu nityam bhagavat-sevaya bhaktir bhagavati nashtiki bhakti. That once devotional, the Lord becomes established in the heart of the devotee as an irrevocable fact. And as soon as the Lord is established in the heart of the devotee, tada rajas tamo baba kamalo vadajasya chitataranabidam sitam sattve prasidati. That the devotee, the effects of the nature's modes of passion and ignorance disappear from the heart, and the devotee becomes fixed, established in happiness. And from then, the heart, all misgivings are cut to pieces, and one actually becomes self-realized. But Lord Chaitanya explains that through the whole process, Krishna Bhakti Jamma Mula Hoy Sadhu Sangha. That through the root cause or the birth of bhakti is association of the devotees. Even when one has when one is advanced in Krishna consciousness, still that association must be sent. And in this connection, about how important it is to get the mercy of the Vaishnavas, there is a famous story in South India. Someone from South India here? You probably know the story better than I do. So this is the story of the great devotee Kanchipurnam. And he was a very simple devotee, but he was very famous because he was serving this Vadaraj Swami, the deity of Vadaraj Swami, and with his simplicity, his simple service, he was actually, the Lord was so pleased with him that he was having conversations with him. They were talking. So the news spread, and the devotees were coming to this Kanchipurna, and they were asking him to ask questions to the Lord. And the Lord, and so he was asking, he was giving answers. And one day when the devotee came, and he asked Kanchipurna, he said, could you please ask the Lord if I will go to Vaikuntha in my next birth? And then he asked the Lord, and the Lord said, you can tell him, yes, he will come back to me in my next birth. So then Kanchipurna had the desire in his mind. I said, I want to know if I'm going to go back, So he didn't want to ask. He was kind of a little shy. And then the Lord, he says, do you have any questions for me? You want to ask him? He said, actually, yes. He said, actually, will I go back to Vaikuntha in my next birth? And the answer was, no. Why? He said, although you have rendered such beautiful service to me in this lifetime, you have not served my pure devotee. So therefore, you will not come back home, back to body in the next life. So Kanchipurna dropped the chamara thing and ran. And he was looking for a devotee, to serve, to do serve. But because he was so elevated, no one wanted to accept service from him, because everybody was like, too advanced. So he gave her his saffron cloth. He gave her, he kind of disguised himself as a cowherd. And then eventually he found someone, and he was doing service for this person for like 6 months, menial service. Until this devotee, he actually recognized him and immediately said, no, you cannot do any more service for me. And then he went back to Bhadaraj Swami, to the deity. And then Bhadaraj Swami said, now you have served my devotee, then now you will go back home to Bhadaraj in the next life. So I remember years ago I was going through some tough time, and I was praying to Krishna, please help me to become your devotee, help me to become your devotee. And there was no response, It was going on for days. I was like a wall, And then one day I said, please, Krishna, help me to become a servant of your devotees. Immediately, there was a response. So this is our identity. Naham vipro na chanarapatir na pivasho na sudro. Naham varna na cha grihapatir na banasto yatirva. Kintu prodyan nikila paramananda purnamritapte gopi vartu padakamala yodasa dasa. So our identity is that we are the eternal servants of the servants of the servants of the servants of the devotees. And when we embrace that mentality, that identity, then everything, every painful situation can be easily tolerated in the association of devotees. Gitara Prabhu was saying a few weeks back that the greatest gift that we've been given is that the association by Prabhupada is the association of the devotees. So when you're giving something very valuable, how much care you have to have for that. And that's why Prabhupada, not Prabhupada, but Krishna himself, he emphasizes that the greatest danger for a devotee is Vaishnava-parad. Because it displeases Krishna. It makes Krishna angry. In the Chaitanya Bhagavat, Vrindavan Das Thakur, he quotes from one of the Puranas, and he's saying that if one worships the Supreme Lord, how does it go? That it is not guaranteed that if one worships the Supreme Lord, he will attain perfection. But if one worships the pure devotee of the Lord, it's guaranteed that one will attain perfection. So I think that in the current situation where we can become a little bit carried away, forgetting the importance of seeking the blessings of the Vaishnavas. And it's not just the pure Vaishnavas, but any Vaishnava, for that matter. Because he says that by serving that by sincerely serving the pure devotee, one develops affinity from hearing the message of Vasudeva. And one may ask, but that's by serving the pure devotee. But actually, the pure devotee is best served when we are serving the devotees. He becomes pleased. You can never. It's been like this. We didn't have mic before. Anyway, Hare Krishna. So it wasn't on before. So you just listen to my voice. It was on. Yeah. Very little. Okay, so now we hear the conclusion is that. Okay, you tell me what is the conclusion. And we must seek the mercy of the devotees even more than the mercy of Krishna. That's the conclusion. And we're seeking the mercy of Srimati Radharani. And how do we get the mercy of Srimati Radharani? By serving the devotees. And actually the best service to the devotee, and in this case the best service to Prabhupada, is that when we carry this message to others, and we bring people to Krishna consciousness. So it's so kind of urgent. It's so urgent. The situation in Kali Yuga is so difficult. We sometimes think we have a tough life, but if you imagine having the problems that we have without Krishna consciousness, it's like, hopeless. So the quality of the devotee is titiksha karunika. He's compassionate and he's merciful. And that compassion and mercy is particularly is the mark of a devotee, and is reflected in how we deal with each other. I remember maybe some Bhaktitirtha Swami's disciple here. There is a famous quote. He says that one should treat every devotee like if my whole spiritual life depends on the quality of my interaction with that person. It's so important. And this is the recommendation we're getting here by Shonaka Rishi. It's the recommendation we're going to get later on by Kapila Muni. We're getting that by Jat Bharat. We're getting that by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Vrindavan Das Thakur, Bhaktivinoda Thakur, all the acharyas. The one thing, don't commit Vaishnava aparadha. Seek the mercy of the Vaishnavas, and then we actually, the blessings means that obstacles are removed. We're struggling with so many things. So we should sincerely seek that mercy. And as is mentioned, and just to go back to the verse also, that one who has not received that mercy is like a ghost. And sometimes we're haunted by material desires. After being practicing Krishna consciousness, sometimes we get overwhelmed by material desires. And it's like you lose your identity. It's like such a kind of horrible condition to be in, isn't it? Is it only me that experiences this? Losing your Krishna consciousness, you become like a ghost, haunted by material desires. So we become free from that, that influence by rolling on the dust of the lotus feet of the Lord's pure devotees, by smearing the dust of the Lord's devotees. And what it means the instructions. It means the instructions. It means hearing from them. That's what it means. Hare Krishna, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Grantha Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Nitai Gaura Premanande. So we have a few minutes for questions if anyone wants to ask something. Yeah.
Thank you, Prabhu, for this class. It's very important, as you said, for us to be careful in our execution of our devotional service. I was wondering if you could shed some light on this phenomenon where we get into a rut. I'm coasting along, I'm chanting my rounds, I'm doing my seva, I'm going to the temple, I'm doing this, I'm doing that, but I'm not experiencing any progress, and I don't quite know why. Could you just help me to understand how to break through that?
I'm in the same situation myself. Well, Krishna, Rupa Goswami says that one should be that one should be patient. Bhaktivinoda Thakur says that one of the rules in japa is to be patient. So I have been meditating on this for the last year. Maybe it's one of the things that, like we go through different periods in our lives where a particular point of the philosophy becomes like more relevant in our lives, So this point about patience has been like a major point for me, 2022, to really think about, so many problems that we create because of not being patient. Yeah. We overreact to situations, or it's not happening, or it's not working, or why this, why that, why the next thing, but we have to be patient. And we know that we are making progress when, you are developing some lolium, some eagerness is coming there. When is the prema going to come? When is the prema going to come? Been chanting for so many years. Where is the prema? When? So that's a symptom that we are making progress. Yeah. It's not that the 6 Goswamis, they were thinking that how they already attained Krishna. Prabhupada will explain, Hey Radhe Brajadevike Chalalite Enanda Sunakuto. Where is Krishna? Where is Radha? So a symptom of, it's kind of ironic because, like we come to Krishna consciousness and at the beginning it seems that it's going to be like about 6 months and we're going to be in Baba or something, right? Because we're getting so much mercy. Yeah? And then we start to go on, and then the more we advance, it seems that the goal is further away, isn't it? The more you advance, the more you realize your fallen condition, more you realize your anarthas, more you realize how exalted is the position of pure devotional service. But then there is one thing that also you realize: Krishna's mercy is so great, much greater than we thought. So this ashabandha, that the devotee, he knows that Krishna may not give him his mercy today. He may not give him his mercy tomorrow, or next week, or next year, or in 5 years, or in 10 years, or even this lifetime. He may not give me his mercy, in a few lifetimes, but he will give me his mercy. And when we come to that platform, I always end up with this pastime with Mukunda, right? That, Lord Chaitanya was giving blessings to everybody, and then Mukunda, whoever he mixes with, he embraces their ideas, and when will he get, will you give his mercy to him? And Mukunda was outside, like crying. This is the most merciful Lord Chaitanya, and he's like kind of rejecting me, And he said, Mukunda, he will attain my mercy in 1,000,000 births. And then Mukunda just, Haribol. What is 1,000,000 births? I will get the mercy. Huh? So then at that point, Lord Chaitanya called him in and embraced him. So being patient, I will say that is one thing. But then another point will be also that maybe we have to do something to, we can intensify our practices. The word is always very introspective. It's always seeing, what am I doing? What are my weak points? Seeking the mercy of the devotees who are advanced, who are thriving in Krishna consciousness. That's very powerful. Being in the holy Dham. So there is different ways, but we can kind of, it's like a jump start, in our spiritual lives. But I think ultimately what gets us to the end is just a kind of patient, consistent practice. It's not like, that quick thing that we go into a parikrama and everything is so nice and you are in a bubble and then you come back down and then you stop. It's a day by day. That's what I'm saying. Like getting up in the morning every day, chanting your rounds every day, following the morning program, getting up before. It's simple in one sense. We are guaranteed success if we do this. Is that answering your question? Yeah. Thank you. Yeah.
Thank you, Puji, for very wonderful class. I just wanted to check my understanding. Eagerness is something like going out of the routine and doing something extra, whatever I am doing. So
eagerness.
Eagerness, yes. So
it's not necessarily going out of the routine. Eagerness is actually
something extra.
It's your consistency. Like you just do it. Either Krishna reciprocates, either Krishna doesn't reciprocate, either I'm getting taste, either I'm not getting taste. I'm doing it.
For serving some devotees, we need to do something extra than our routine.
Yeah, that's also there.
Yes. So if I am not getting that eagerness, from where it comes? It comes from hearing such enthusiastic devotees, and I'm just checking.
So you can see someone, we see different devotees. You may see someone who is particularly enthusiastic about something.
Yes.
We see devotees who may be enthusiastic about Harinam. Some devotees may be enthusiastic about serving Vaishnavas.
Yes.
Someone may be enthusiastic about chanting.
Yes.
And we seek their association. We get their inspiration from that.
It's
again, that's what it says, that Krishna Bhakti Jamma Mula Hoy Sadhu Sangha, that the root cause of bhakti is the association with Vaishnavas. It's infectious. We get it from others. So, and this places in a very kind of safe platform, because it places you on a platform that you're in need, that you are in need of mercy. When we come off that platform that I know it all, these guys, they don't understand what's going on with Krishna consciousness, and there's so many problems in the society, and you enter into a space which is kind of, it can lead to pride, But we feel, I'm in need. I'm in so much need of mercy. And that will, affect your relationship with other devotees. You'll be very careful. And for that purpose, Krishna may sometimes put you in a very hopeless condition. So there we just left, but that's another point, that sometimes Krishna, we may not be getting anything, so that we have to call out even harder for Krishna. Because sometimes everything is going on nicely, what happens? You become casual, right? And then mistakes. But when you are in a helpless condition, and those who have been in the movement for some time, we all have been through that repeatedly, right? Hopeless. Again and again and again. So we have to come to our knees and, Krishna, please, help me. And then how the mercy comes? Through the Vaishnavas. We have to humble ourselves. I remember, those who don't know, I used to do Sankirtan. That was my service. And I remember you doing Sankirtan, and the other devotees on the other side of the street, or is next to you, and you're not doing anything. Everybody that you approach is like, get lost, not interested. And every time you look to the other devotee, smiling with the other person, changing books, Oh man, it was every time. And I remember that the moment I will go to that person, I say, Prabhu, I'm struggling, things will just take off. It was funny, it was interesting, But the moment that you don't want to go because your ego, you're going to look like you're not doing anything, the mind tricks, But the moment I would say, Prabhu, I don't know what's going on, I cannot get it together. Immediately you speak with the devotee, you go back and people start to respond differently. Simple things. So it's good to have devotees around you that you have friendship with also. You can inquire from them, about yourself. Where am I going wrong? Am I off? There is no safer place. And another point, it's a nice point, I read it this morning, I really liked it. The Prabhupada said in a class, he said that Goloka Vrindavan is always expanding. It's always expanding. And how does he expand? It's everywhere. How does he expand? By the devotee's presence, because he's talking about Krishna everywhere. So he says that Krishna doesn't reside in the heart of the yogis. Where does he reside? With the Lord, where the devotees are glorifying him. So anyway, it's not yet related to your question, but just came to my mind that the devotees are representatives of Krishna. So we have to humble ourselves. Mishra Bhagavan Prabhu? And we're a little over time. If you need to go, you can go.
Okay. Since this is a series of how-to questions.
Well, choose the best one, because we're over time.
How to give up the idea of being happy in the material world and just accepting that there's nothing else to do but
I don't think, and you have to try hard for that one. It's by default Krishna will make some arrangement, You know, that Krishna, like how can you be happy in the material world? We secretly keeping that hope, right? That is a secret hope that we are, somehow something is going to happen. But by default, the material energy is going to bring us down to death. We're going to grow old and we're going to die. Even the most successful person will have to face this. Material life is doomed. Like I remember, I think it was Suta Goswami. He had a sticker on his suitcase. He said, "Life is tough, and then you die." Right? So I don't think. But how to give it up anyway? Just answering your question on practical level, we have to constantly hear the message, constantly. Reading Srimad Bhagavatam every day, no fail. Reading Srila Prabhupada's books. Because the whole message outside there is that, yes, you may be able to make it, There's no hope. There's only one solution. We're in a dream, like a ghost-haunted person. There's only one solution when you're in a dream. It's a nightmare, actually. It's not a dream. It's to wake up. No other solution. Does that answer your question? Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Granthara Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Nitai Gaura Premanande. Thank you.